I started off thinking of becoming a doctor at a very tender age, somewhat around 12, 13. I remember clearly my cousin had an asthmatic attack, and then we took him to hospital. And it was so beautiful what they did because I was so sure he was dying. And within a few minutes, he was stabilized, he was calm, So I thought, okay, I want to do this. My name is Dr. Suleiman Usman. I trained in Khartoum, Sudan. I got inspired by my brother, who's also a doctor. He's someone I've always looked up to. In fact, if I have a role model, it's going to be my brother. So right after high school, he counseled me, basically told me about all the good things they've been doing. So I knew I was going to be a doctor right after high school, and there was no compromise.
There was always this prestige while growing up that is associated with being a doctor, and then the idea seemed good to me. So I said, okay, let's try. And then my mom also helped in nudging me in that direction as well. I'm Dr. Omana Hadassa Esther. I trained at Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Osun State. Well, I imagine practicing medicine will be fun, exciting, getting to learn new things every day, getting to meet patients, some interesting cases, learning more to be a knowledgeable doctor.
Ever since I've had this idea of practicing medicine is just some sort of magic, just helping people and saving lives. Don't get me wrong, it is still the same thing, but not how I imagined it to be. It's a lot more difficult. There are good ones, there are bad ones. But I believe the good ones overshadow the bad ones because I've helped save a lot of people, directly or indirectly, doing certain surgical procedures, being part of some amazing medical processes. So my experience has been a positive one, actually.
It has been both good and bad. Good in the sense that, yes, like I mentioned earlier, I get to learn new things. I'm become more knowledgeable as the days go by, which is good for me. Bad in the sense that it's been quite exhausting, very stressful, so much to do, and sometimes the environment is not helpful, a little bit hostile. I get to learn to cope with people, both health workers and non-health workers. So all that sometimes make it very frustrating. But somehow, by God's grace, we are surviving.
The best thing about being a doctor is the help, actually. Seeing what you do works. Seeing a patient come in distress, in pain, near death, and then you give it to one or two medications, you stabilize, you see the patient is better, and even at the end of it, the patient leaving the hospital. I think that joy of seeing someone coming in not looking too good, and then all of a sudden they're a lot better.
The best thing about being a doctor is the fact that when patients come with their health issues, you're able to attend to them, and then they are satisfied, there's this relief. And then this whisper of thank you makes a whole lot of difference, I must confess. The most challenging thing about being a doctor, well, it comes in the way of sometimes the fact that being a doctor, you are always a doctor. At work, you're a doctor. At home, you're a doctor. In the church, you're a doctor. On the road, in the market, everywhere, you're a doctor. So you don't have time to yourself. You always attend to one prescribing drugs somewhere, listen to this one, and you have, because of the fact that you are supposed to have empathy, so you have to listen to the person, try and say, I can help the person feel better. So there's no time for yourself.
The constant need to grow as a doctor. You're consistently studying, exposing yourself to new regimens, understanding how to practice, knowing the latest documents on each condition, and so staying on top is quite challenging. But once you love what you do, and of course I love what I do, you find it slightly easier than it should be, but it's quite challenging. And practicing in this part of the world itself is quite challenging. So
The challenges associated with practicing in this part of the world comes in fact that there's not good infrastructure, manpower, no. Many people are traveling out of the country for greener pastures, so we don't have enough hands. And they have a lot of patients, so one doctor to many patients. And then infrastructure, like I mentioned earlier, no. It's not enough. Even the ones that are there are spoiling and all that. And then pay too. The pay could be better to serve as more incentive. And
the thing is, there are also psychological aspects to it. As a doctor, sometimes people forget we're humans, and then realizing that some psychological impacts tend to affect you as well. You see patients dying. Sometimes you bond with people, and then they die on you. So all these are challenges that you have to keep up with.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I would. Without a second chance, I would. I love practicing. I love what I do. I don't see myself being anything other than a doctor, actually.
Collapsing.
Broken, if I need to use that word.
I intend to further my education as regards my residency, that's along my career, and then a little bit of leadership, maybe politics as well.
I aspire to be a surgeon. I set out to be a neurosurgeon, and that fire in me is still there, and I want to be a world-renowned doctor. That is my future plan. I love what I do. I want to be world-renowned, and it has been a battle, Some days you come to work, you're so frustrated by the system, you're like, I'm leaving. But then you realize that, look, if we all leave, who stays? Based on the field I want to go into, neurosurgery, professionally speaking, I think I'll get the most training in the West or in just any other developed country. But I am not leaving this country in the long term, even if I do leave. So far, I have no intentions of leaving. But if, be it, I have to leave, then it's going to be a very short period.
Yes, I have plans of going out of the country.
It was mentally challenging, actually, but medical school for me was a smooth ride. I had dedicated my whole time to study. I basically took myself away out of the social circle of my friends. So that was the most challenging part because I gave it everything.
As medical students, you always face challenges. You always face challenges. And then for me, I had some very tough courses that were not easy at all, with very tough professors like that. And some tough exams that I had to write, and I came back crying, feeling, I don't think I'm going to make it. I needed praying and fasting. But thank God, as is, I passed and I made it, and I'm here today. My advice to medical students is they should make their plans fast and reasonable, especially as regards their future. And then they should also note that the world is becoming more digital as the days go by. But they should also try looking into technology. It's very important.
Drop your phones. That's basically the most important thing. My younger sister is a medical student, and I talk to her every day. I think Every student should dedicate their time to studying. It's the moment in their life where they are where they are supposed to gain all the knowledge they can. It's the time where you incorporate discipline. So I think every medical student should give it their best and should understand that it's a very rewarding practice. It's a very rewarding job.
Sometimes they don't understand what doctors are going through. So when you attend to them, you're coming from, maybe you've been on call overnight, it's been a very stressful one, CS after CS and after CS. You now have clinic the next day to attend to patients. And it's not like you're going to go home, you have to stay there till 4 when you close from work. And then with that stress, you want to attend to patients. So when you are not smiling, you now feel this doctor is very hostile, doctors are this, they are that, like that. You should understand that sometimes it's not easy for us to pass through a lot of stress. So it's not like we want to be hostile to them, we want to be harsh or thereabouts. We are just stressed.
Doctors are humans. A lot of patients, there are two kinds of patients. Patients that see you as gods, patients that see you as, I don't want to use the word devils, but other patients would see you as definitely not God sent. So doctors are humans before they are doctors, so patients need to be patient. You know, a doctor can be on call, could have been seeing patients for the last 40 hours and still be attending to you. So patients should be patient. Give it your 100% wherever, whenever, however you can, because God knows the patients will need it, and take care of yourselves.
They should continue to survive. Should continue to survive. Yes, it's necessary. Find a way to survive, because they see suicide rate is increasing among doctors, and they should see how, for those that it's possible for them to live, they should see how they can, and for those that feel they want to stay and make Nigeria a better place, more grace to them.